Look, there were some positive aspects to the budget yesterday. I highlighted a number of them. But at the end of the day, every budget should be either setting or continuing specific policy directions and underpinning that policy with resources to ensure its implementation. And in that context, I want to highlight two areas where I believe yesterday's budget failed the test. First of all, the tackling of waiting lists. Yes, there's additional funding given, but the absolutely huge and escalating numbers on waiting lists, this funding simply won't be enough. I know it's not the same, but I just checked out Trolley Watch today. My own local hospital, Sligo University Hospital, 26 waiting. Letterkenny, 42. As I said, it's a huge and escalating problem. But part of the solution has to be looking at the manpower issue, and we have a massive problem there. I was absolutely shocked to read that in a survey of a number, I think about 1,000 doctors carried out after they had read the draft Sláinte Care the Sláinte Care contract, that 90% of those doctors said that they would consider emigrating. I mean, that indicates the level of the challenge that we have here. So it's a manpower challenge, but it's also about capacity within our acute services. And I really don't believe that yesterday's budget tackled that in a reasonable way. But I also yesterday referred to the fact that agriculture was ghosted, basically a non-event as far as the budget was concerned. But it wasn't only ghosted, it was also shortchanged. One small paragraph informed us that €49 million that was promised to agriculture for next year as their share of carbon taxes collected was deferred. Deferred for a sector that's expected to carry much of the heavy lifting on decarbonisation. Yet they were told yesterday that the 40 million which was earmarked for this sector was deferred. Yes, they've been told they will get it in the context of the cap, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But I suppose my question is, how does this square with the basic premise of carbon tax, which is that carbon tax is meant to incentivise farmers and all of us to cut emissions? The incentive has been deferred, and I believe that breaks the trust with farmers. And my question is, this money was deferred. Why? Were the various departments not ready to go with programmes? What went wrong? And as I said yesterday, I'm sick listening to this idea that the cap would cure all ills. The truth is, farmers will be expected to do so much more with the same money. There's huge extra requirements in the cap with the eco schemes, where 25% of their income will rely on new work under the eco schemes. That will entail cost. There's certain issues around the eco schemes, and the principle is a good one. But the principle also is that farmers are expected to do that, and with the extra burden of cost, with the same amount of money under cap. We also have a very significant issue, and some of my Green colleagues will be aware of the fact that we are expected under the biodiversity strategy to increase the amount of designated land from 13 to 30%. Now, for any farmer, that means immediately there are 38 notifiable actions for which consent must be applied for. The cost of that in itself is very significant. And if anyone wants to know, and designation of land is very positive in certain cases, but if we want to know the impact of it, just two words, Loch Finchina. Anybody who watched the primetime programme will have seen the impact of that. We're supposed to more than double our designated land, and yet there's nothing extra for farmers in all of this. Can I say that yesterday they were looking to the budget for a signal that they were part of this society and they would be included. As I said earlier, unfortunately, they were ghosted and they were shortchanged.